guys, so a few weeks ago I did a video about my Sire S3 and why I thought it would make a really good platform for modifying, and I also did another video about the PRS Silver Sky in which I was talking a little bit about why I wasn't really sure whether I thought it was worth the price that they are. And the main reason for that was, you know, when you kind of look at the value for money of some of the cheaper guitars you can buy, such as like the SE Silver Sky or the Sire S3 or the Sire S7, it makes it quite difficult to justify that kind of large price tag of like the core model PRS Silver Sky. And then basically what happened was, making those two videos led me to thinking, what about if I tried to modify my Sire S3 into kind of like a Silver Sky style guitar? Now obviously you might be thinking, well, you know, if you're trying to like do a Silver Sky on a budget, why not just buy the Silver Sky SE? But I would argue that this modified Sire S3 is a lot better than a Silver Sky SE, and even possibly in a couple of ways better than the core model Silver Sky. But we'll come back to that shortly. First I'm just going to run through kind of the specs that I've gone for modification wise. So as standard, the S3 just comes with kind of like your bog standard tuners. So I've upgraded those to the Gotoh Staggered locking tuners, which I think is a really important modification on the S3 regardless, as the S3 doesn't have like a string tree, so the break angle of the string is quite shallow with the standard tuners. The S7 comes with staggered tuners, so it's different on that one. But yeah, I feel like the staggered tuners are kind of like a must-have to correct the break angle of the string. Now apparently Sire say that the angle of the headstock is slightly adjusted to compensate for that break angle. I'm not sure whether that is the case or not. I was experiencing some kind of like vibrations in the string behind the nut with the standard tuners, whereas now that we've switched to the staggered tuners, that's completely gone now. So then on the other end of the guitar at the tremolo, the S3 has the same style trem as the S7 guitar. The only difference is the saddles. So the S3 has kind of like a cheaper alloy type like block saddle, whereas the S7 has the steel blocks for the saddles. So on this I've gone for the vintage style bent steel saddles. And then obviously the S3 comes with a bone nut as standard, and like I say, the tremolo is the same as on the S7 other than the saddles, so it has like the full size steel sustain block. And then some of the biggest changes modification wise have come in the electronics of the guitar, the main one being the pickups. So I did a lot of research into the pickups for this guitar. Obviously, you know, I was chasing that kind of Silver Sky sound, and I came across a UK based company called Toltec pickups, and I got in touch with Lee at Toltec and kind of like talked him through the aim of the project and the kind of sounds that I was after, and Lee, being super knowledgeable about pickups, was able to kind of like custom make a set of single coils to the exact spec that I was after. So I am super happy with the pickups in this guitar. So yeah, really big thanks to Lee at Toltec for sorting me out with these. I'm going to be doing another video on these pickups where I'm just going to kind of be focusing on demoing like different tones and that kind of thing. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I really highly recommend Toltec pickups, so be sure to check them out. So I had to start by removing all of the old hardware. Obviously I had to take the strings off first, then I removed the old tuners, moved on to the pick guard. Obviously had to take out all the old electronics, the old pickups, until basically all I was left with was the wood, the frets, the nut and some parts of the trem. Once that was done, it was time to start assembling the new pickguard and wiring everything up. So we've got the Toltec single coil pickups, CTS pots, Oak Grigsby switch, orange drop capacitor, all the good stuff. I then swapped over the old saddles for the new Gotoh vintage style bent steel saddles and installed the Gotoh lock-in staggered tuners. I then also polished all the frets with the micro mesh polishing pads, and once that was done I cleaned and conditioned the fretboard using Fret Doctor bore oil. So, evaluation time then. So, I mentioned before that I think this guitar is better than like an SE Silver Sky. And the reason for that is mainly just based on like spec. So obviously this guitar's got lock-in tuners. The SE Silver Sky doesn't have lock-in tuners. This guitar has a bone nut, whereas the SE Silver Sky has a synthetic bone nut. This guitar has the really comfortable kind of rolled fingerboard edges, which Sire call like their edgeless fingerboard, which, you know, it's super comfortable to play. And then obviously you've got the hand wound Toltec pickups, which, you know, they're outstanding, top quality pickups. So, you know, there's a lot there spec wise that sets this guitar apart from the SE Silver Sky. So then obviously we need to compare it to the core model Silver Sky, and obviously this is where the competition gets a little bit tougher. So spec wise, there's a lot of areas where the two guitars are kind of, you know, evenly matched. Like obviously both have lock-in tuners, both have got a bone nut, both have got high quality tremolos, you know, hardware, electronics are all like, you know, top end high quality parts. Now obviously what I would consider the biggest difference between the two guitars, and this is the potential deal breaker, I think, is the neck shape and size and the fretboard radius. So obviously the core model Silver Sky has a 7¼ inch fretboard radius, which is a much rounder radius fretboard than the Sire S3. And obviously the neck itself is a lot chunkier, and it's a much more vintage style neck than what's on the Sire S3. So if that style of neck is what you're after, then, you know, that's likely going to be the deal breaker on whether like a project like this would work for you. However, other than that, like I say, you know, the spec wise the two guitars are very evenly matched, but there's two areas where I think that this guitar prevails over the core model Silver Sky. The first is the neck heel joint. So the S3 has this really nice contoured heel with the contoured lower horn as well, which makes it really comfortable when you're playing in these like kind of higher fret areas. And I think this is something that the Silver Sky really should have had anyway. Being that the Silver Sky is supposed to be like, you know, what the Strat would be if it was designed today, kind of thing. I find it strange that they didn't opt for some kind of like contoured heel. So that's where I kind of give this guitar a +1 over the Silver Sky. And then the biggest thing that I think this guitar has got over the core model Silver Sky is, you know, kind of what I mentioned right back at the start, is the cost. So to build a project like this, you're looking at around £700 all in. That's for the guitar, the pickups, the hardware, the electronics, everything you need to build this guitar comes to around £700. And obviously, you know, you've got to put the time and the work in to do it, but I did all of this in, you know, about a morning really. So, you know, when you think that that's literally a quarter of the cost of what the Silver Sky is at the moment in the UK, I just had a look and they're going for £2,800. So it's literally a quarter of the cost, which for me, that seals the deal. Like, you know, I'd much sooner spend £700 and have this guitar than spend £2,800 on the Silver Sky. Obviously, I understand that that's not going to be the case for everyone. And you know, everyone has different circumstance and everyone has different kind of things that they're looking for in a guitar. So, you know, some people might find it super easy to justify the cost of a Silver Sky, or maybe not even have to, you know, think about the cost of a Silver Sky, and that's great. I think that's, you know, obviously the Silver Sky is an amazing guitar, and like I said in my other video about the Silver Sky, when I played the one that I tried out, it was, you know, one of the best guitars I've ever tried. But I think for me, and I think for a lot of kind of gigging musicians, you know, it would potentially make a lot more sense to kind of do something like this than to spend, you know, nearly £3,000 on the Silver Sky. But yeah, obviously, you know, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, you know, so feel free to drop a comment and, you know, share your opinions. But yeah, I think that's about it for this video really. So once again, I just want to say a really big thanks to Lee over at Toltec Pickups for all of his help with sorting these pickups out. Like I say, there'll be a proper demo video of these going up soon, so keep an eye out for that one. Be sure to check out Toltec Pickups on Facebook and on their website. I'll put a link to those in the description of this video as well. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.